We are live. All right, I'll check my room. Somebody check Mac to the Future. See if we're there. Yeah, well, we're there on my.
Yep, we're on yours. Oh, no, Mac to the Future is live.
Okay, and I'm sure we are on YouTube as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do. Oh, it's 7:58. All right, I'm going to bring up the logo. I got to go solo here first. Solo. Marco, solo. There's that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, get all that out before we get started here, guys.
And everybody can hear it.
Everybody, the three of us.
There's only,
there's four people now.
Okay.
Oh, and yours?
Okay,
or
we're going to the countdown.
Good
Countdown. Tonight on the Mac to the Future Go livecast. A lot of updates for practically everything Apple makes, and likely some they don't make because everyone wants to copy the hotness. Speaking of which, Apple releases their second quarter of 2021 results, and they made nearly $29 billion in profits on 111 billion in sales. But someone somewhere is still saying that they're doomed. All of that tonight and more on the Mac to the Future livecast. Go. Oh, sorry. I was still dancing. Sorry about that. Yeah. Hey, welcome everyone to the Mac to the Future livecast Go. We are so delighted that you have joined us tonight right here on this stage, which I guess is not really a stage. It's just us, just three. And we're going to start with Warren Sklar. Hello there, Mr. Warren Sklar. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Welcome to the show. I'm trying desperately to stay out of trouble. How am I doing so far?
I don't know. When I joined, you guys were blabbering about some bad stuff. So
yeah,
stop doing that. Stop doing that.
Don't do that. Shh. Nobody wants to hear that on this show. All right. And we also have Mr. Dave Ginsburg. Hello there, David. How are you?
What's going on? Good to be here.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you and I, we seem to get together now like 2-3 times a week.
Yeah,
between Chuck's show and this show. Yeah. And if you guys missed last night's Mac Voices live, you missed something great. So
we had fun.
It was a lot of fun. Let's see. Oh, and I forgot. I got to do my own. Look at that. I've got a lower third too. Wow. Lower thirds. All right. We're getting out of this.
Meanwhile, your camera's going like this.
Yeah. Well, that's because I'm bouncing in my seat. Which is not squeaking, by the way.
Yes.
I think I finally fixed it. And it's still the same cat scratch seat that I had before, but it's now pretty quiet. So I like it.
I got a new one. It doesn't squeak at all. It's nice.
Well, my cats have managed to rip the crap out of one side of this chair. I didn't even have it 6 months, and my son came over. Both my sons and my wife, this was my Christmas present last year or year before that. And my son Peter came over to the house and he was down here in the man cave talking to me, and he was like, Holy crap, Dad, what happened to your chair? It was like the cats. The cats love this chair. I don't know why. They just do. And we have a comment.
This is why I have dogs.
Marcus Benjamin says, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate that, Marcus.
Sure.
Now,
whatever you said.
We have a lot to talk about tonight, as a matter of fact. And I think we might possibly have more quick takes than we do main stories. Well, we will see. There's a story that Apple is moving a significant amount of production out of China to Vietnam and India. And while I don't argue with Tim Cook on doing this, I understand why he's doing it. How do you think that might affect the various lines as they come out, or because? Well, actually, let's start with that right there, and we'll start with Dave. What do you think about that, Dave?
Well, they're doing this. Apple wouldn't just do it just to do it, to pull trigger. There's obviously we've got some really good skilled workers in both those countries that can easily handle the production. Obviously, when they had it in China, they were they had some good skilled workers, and that's where it came to be tough to bring that production into the United States. So I would venture to say both Vietnam and India should have some good skilled working folks that get our iPhones built properly.
Okay.
What do you think, Warren?
They're sort of moving it out. They're moving it out of these places, and it's going to be another story, but aren't they trying to get the Indian market? So that's a little strange too. But getting out of China,
they were making like a lower cost phone just for the Indian market. Wasn't that what that story was?
That's what the story was, but this article says they're looking to move some of that out at this point, right? Is that what you're saying here?
Well, out of China.
Move it on
to okay.
To Vietnam.
I thought that's
India.
And Vietnam and India. Okay,
yeah,
that makes more sense. So that makes a little more sense. Yeah, China. It makes sense to do that too, because I think we may one day get another politician that doesn't want to do business with China, and that's not good or bad. It's just some decades we're friends with some countries, some decades we're not, and that's how it's going to go. And to get the goal is to get as much production here in America as possible, but we talked about
within reason.
Yeah, we talked about it before, between getting the parts here and getting the skilled labor here. That's a hard
yeah,
thing
and to be able to build a factory that'll hold 400,000 people. Where do you put a factory like that in the United States?
Oh, we have plenty. There's room for that. If you want to build one, put it anywhere at this point in the Midwest.
Yeah,
or whatever,
but it's the problem is how do you find enough real estate to build a place big enough for that many people in the areas where there's that many people, and also be able to attract at a reasonable cost and a reasonable rate people to come and work in that factory, including the engineering support that you need for
there's
that kind of mass production.
I don't think that's a problem. I think they would find plenty of places that they could build somewhat that where the people would be, and if not, people would go if needed. I think we have plenty of room for that. But it's a gamble as far as whether it's going to be worth it, and whether So I don't know if India and Vietnam have the talent either. So it's also a risk. And it's also a risk because, 10 years from now, we may not be friendly with Vietnam and India. So again, moving to America, if you're an American company, you want to move as much to America as you can. Unfortunately,
it certainly would be safer.
Yeah, that's the safest bet.
Skilled workers, that's the question in the United States.
Remember as well that just because the manufacturing is moving to these other countries doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go to other companies. All the same companies, Foxconn, and so many of these other companies are set up in Taiwan, even though it's a Chinese company, or maybe it's a Taiwanese company that's also set up in China. They're also they're in India, they're in Vietnam, they're in all these other places, and not just Foxconn, but a lot of these other companies as well.
Right.
Hello,
Yeah.
Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Frank. So that's that. What do you next
Yeah,
story?
Wisconsin has room.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's right. There's room. We have room to build the factories, and if this is going to be a 20 or 30-year transition, then we could probably get the skilled labor if we start working on that. So
I think the difference would be I don't think you could put up a factory that held 400,000 people here in the United States, because I don't think, you have to remember that China has 1 point something billion people in it. They have 4 to 5 times our 3 to 4 times our population. So they have concentrated population centers where they could, and plus the kind of government they could sit there and say, all right, you 400,000 people, go on over there and start to work, because this company is giving us a kickback to give us whatever it is that they wanted to make. So, and it's kind of the same thing with India. India has over 1 billion people as well. So they have at least 3 times our population. So we have the land space. We certainly have the space to build a factory that can hold that many people. The question is, could we attract that many people to work in a place like that? So I don't know if we could. It would require a level of automation in manufacturing that I don't think they do in China, or that they'll do in Vietnam or India.
And Derek in the chat room says, don't they also have, they don't have unions, which is in China, maybe, probably. So,
but they have the Communist Party. So it functions as a de facto workers union.
I mean, the whole, we all know I don't want to call it a joke, but the running, thought that, the Chinese labor is harsh and they work very hard.
What was that?
Your pizza's ready?
No. Where'd that sound come from?
Oh,
I don't know either.
Did you guys hear it?
Yeah.
It's a time. It was a timer to get off this topic. I think it was.
Oh. Yeah. Which is like, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
No, I got the door closed. I never opened it for her. And my
cat
cat is
did it?
outside howling at me.
Beeping.
Cat is
All right.
not happy.
Let's
All
move
right,
off.
let's move on.
Yeah, let's move off this.
Okay, let's talk about Facebook instead. Facebook is saying that Apple is pushing privacy to fight Facebook with its free messages app, while Facebook's own messenger service tracks you because reasons. So the latest salvo from Facebook, it's yet another argument that I don't know if it holds water. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, just like we were just talking about before the show started, I just noticed that my Messenger's app is now opening in its own app on a different browser page, and messenger.com. So Facebook obviously making changes just because. I mean, but we did rule it out. It does it on a PC too, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, I Facebook's going to continue to be pushing all this because they don't like Apple controlling how privacy works, and it's going to affect their ad business. And well, if they don't disclose what they're sharing, then so be it. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah, we were, or at least I was going all paranoid conspiracy theory for a while until you was like, no, it's working the same way on Windows. It was like,
It works on
damn it.
PC, so
Yeah,
I
I like a good
hoping.
paranoid conspiracy theory.
So,
All right, what do you think there, Warren?
Yeah, obviously they're moving it. So yeah.
I mean, they've been fighting this for a while, and they're just going to fight every aspect of it, but it's not going to matter. So,
It's same.
You get what you pay for, and that's what it is. And you don't pay for Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. According to Tim Cook, I don't know if he mentioned this today. Apple now has over 1 billion active iPhones in the market, and they still claim all they want is 1%. The last part is a lie. I was kidding. That was a joke.
I think the market share is a little more than that.
Yeah. A billion active phones. I would be curious to see the breakdown on that, on how
Of
that.
course, they aren't going to disclose that.
No, but that's still a crap load of phones. You know, even if you figure
it was 999 phones and 1,000 phones and one 12 mini is what it was.
There you go. Yeah.
That's a breakdown for you. That the one guy in Wisconsin who bought the 12 mini.
He's like, I don't know what they're talking about. This is a great phone. I love my 12 mini. It's wonderful.
My little guy. It's just cribbing.
It's just little. It's this big. It's way big.
So that's one they say they're not selling much of. So
No, they
as far as the other ones,
production.
the 12, they reduced that. So the 12s and the Pro are doing well, from what we hear. And these activations are, as you know, the activations could be phones, going from one person to another too. So it's hard to tell exactly what the number of sales are. Activations doesn't mean it's not the same as sales.
Well, but they're saying active iPhones across the entire spectrum. So even if it's not running the latest version of iOS, it's still an active phone if it's connected up to a cellular network someplace.
Right.
So that's why I was curious as to the breakdown between 12s, 11s, 10s, SEs.
We won't know.
No, they're not going to tell us. But that's still a lot of phones. All right, last quick take. Mac OS 11.2 update reportedly to fix, yes, big sir, to fix Bluetooth issues. Second release candidate currently being tested, which I have put on this computer right here, my main active computer, brave. Which I hate. I hate doing that.
He's brave. He put the second release candidate on his computer, and he's brave. The one that's probably the production, the one that's most likely coming out. That's probably the one he has. So
the problem that I've been having has been Bluetooth related. That has been the only significant issue that I've had with this Mac Mini. This Mac Mini has been just freaking wonderful. As a matter of fact, my son Guy was here. I just took him back down to Richmond today. And he was curious about its performance, because he likes to make small movies, and he uses DaVinci Pro, the same editing software that I use. And he has a 2017 27-inch iMac, 4-core Intel processor, 48 gigs of RAM, blah, 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 blah. And he also has a Dell machine that he bought exclusively to do video on. And when he came here, he was like, well, you have the M1. I was like, yeah. He said, well, how does it work with DaVinci? I said, well, it works great. That's what I use for Guy's Daily Drive, and I use it for the Mac to the Future livecast and all the rest of that. I said, but my editing, what I do with it is relatively simple. It's almost like just one track. The My Mac podcast, when I do that with DaVinci, is a little more complicated, but not that much. I'm not really stretching DaVinci to its greatest heights. But so he came down, he threw some video on it, and he took like 15. He ended up going all the way to 15 tracks of our show from last week and stacking them on top of one another. 15 tracks before it finally stuttered just a little bit. He had 15 tracks of audio and video before it finally stuttered. And if he had tried that on his Intel Mac, he says he can't get much past 3 to 5 tracks. And the same thing with the Dell. The Dell starts skipping long before that. So he's thinking about getting an M1 Mac Mini. And I told him at this point, you'd be better off just waiting to see what the next round of hardware is going to be.
It won't be a Mac Mini. It'll be a MacBook probably.
If somebody wanted, I would have no problem telling somebody to run out right now and get the new Air Pro or Mini right now. I would not tell him to wait. Who knows how long it's going to be.
I'm also trying to discourage him from spending more money until his other situation is taken care of.
That's different.
Which is a whole other thing that we're not going to talk about.
That's a whole other thing.
Whole other thing.
Yeah. So the M1 is good. And did it fix your Bluetooth? I guess is the question.
So far, it has been relatively steady. I know when I first got on with Dave earlier. Come on.
So you're a little choppy right now. I don't know if it's you or me. Dave, it's you choppy on your end?
No,
I'll probably find out when I go to do the editing. We'll find.
okay, me.
I'll find out then. I still,
It's
even
not
if I'm
coming
a
out?
little choppy, I will still go ahead and push it out. But that's how I roll.
Let's go with it. No, I don't have that.
What is
We
what
lost
is he
the dog.
doing?
It's the dog.
Whoops.
Okay. What?
Where are we? Here we go.
It's
M1s
choppy.
are in their first iteration. It's still proof of well, I don't know if that's true, Frank.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with
that.
that at all. This is
Yeah,
not a
I
proof-
think
this is not a proof of concept. This is proof.
it is the first iteration of,
Yeah, sure.
of
I'll agree with that.
production
Not a proof
machines. Yeah.
But it's definitely not. This is they're not testing the waters on this one. They're going.
No, they went out. They went all out.
So I am choppy, apparently.
To me, it looks choppy, but it could be me. So
Yeah, I see. But I'm seeing it a little bit.
okay. Kind of shares. Okay.
Well, your
well,
camera keeps blurring in and out too.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being a jerk. What
That's
else
what
is new?
happens. That's what happens when you put betas on computers. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Had to do it. All right. We got two main stories here. Thank you, Dave, for putting this in for us. Updates, lots of updates. There is an iOS 14.4 flaw, or an iOS 14 flaw that 14.4 is supposed to take care of. This is a must-have update, and I believe 14 or iOS 14 is still good all the way back to the iPhone 6.
Yes. 6S.
Okay. 6S. Okay, so the original 6, no, but the 6S. So if you own anything from a 6S on up and you're running iOS 14, and not everybody is, because, if you have a much older phone, it's not going to run as well.
Right.
But if you are running iOS 14, make sure you go and get this latest update. According to this, company says...
Go ahead.
Company says that 3 security flaws may have been actively exploited. It did not reveal the specifics about the bugs, saying that Apple does not discuss, or confirm security issues until an investigation has occurred and patches and releases are available. The issue is in a link in an exploit chain, meaning that a hacker would need to exploit further bugs for it to be fully executable. But apparently this update will take care of this. And it says Apple pushed out the security patches on Tuesday as part of its new iOS 14.4 software, which include fixes for keyboard lag and allows for smaller QR codes to be read by the camera. So if you have smaller QR codes, this is the update for you. So
it made mainstream media. So this link we're looking at is from CNN. It's been all over the news today. So
David Muir told me about it tonight. So
yeah, it's ABC News. It's all over mainstream media. So, but I think in a CNN article they were saying it's related to WebKit as far as the exploit. So there is some information out there about it, and the person who reported it was able to. They allowed him to remain anonymous. So. They don't know who actually reported it, but no, I mean, just like any other iOS update, I mean, it's always important to update that. They don't release it just for the heck of it. I mean, there's good reasons. There's usually a lot of bug fixes, but this one is a little more urgent. As I would say to everybody that you should go out and do it right away, because it's not, it's going to protect you.
I will tell you that I'm trying to update my wife's iPad, and it's when it times out and it says retry to do the update. Yeah. I bet it's a busy, if it's making David Muir, then everybody.
It's making CNN. I mean, it's all over the mainstream media. There's
a billion phones out there that need to be updated right away.
So like everybody and their mother's on the update site right now. So just be aware about that.
Okay. Apple sells lots of stuff. Did you guys hear about this?
We did.
Something like that. Yeah.
So they had their second quarter, or they're calling it Q1, but this is really the second business quarter for 2021. Oh wait, no, you're right. This is the report for quarter one. I'm sorry, we're in the second quarter of 2021.
Right.
And in Apple's wearables, homes, and accessories category, previously known as Other, brought in record revenue for the first quarter, hitting $13 billion, up from $10 billion in the year before. So this would be HomePod Mini, the AirPod models, AirPod Max, watches, things along those lines. And Apple is just selling a ton of them. And I guess, does this also include services?
No, services
category?
had services
They have
had
their own
a
category.
all-time record of 15.8 billion in the quarter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So there's
that bundle helped a little.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I was saying in the beginning, they had, and this is in one quarter, they had 111 billion, over 111 billion in sales.
Right.
And with their relatively high margins, they made nearly 29 billion in profits. So Apple's doing quite well. What do you guys think?
By the way, yeah, no, they're doing real well. I mean, the market was way down today. It was down 600 points in the Dow, so the market wasn't doing real well today. But
The market was crazy today.
yeah,
I rode a little bit of the GameStop wave today.
Did you sell some? Did you sell some
sold
stock?
or you bought?
I did both today. I made $50 and I'm good with that. So I'm done. But yeah, Apple, the Apple actually went down even after hours, even after the announcement. So this company comes out and says, listen, we broke every record we ever, had. We beat every expectation out there, and the stock still went down 2 or 3 points. So I'm not sure what that means.
Only, what was it? It was 0.77.
What is it? You buy on rumor and sell on news. Is that kind of what they say?
Yeah, something like that. It's down.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. It's 142 and 6 cents, down $1.10 or 0.77.
It's down 3.21% after hours.
Okay, so everybody sell so that it'll come down even farther. Regular people can
at the close
go ahead and buy the stock.
After hours, it started to go down. But I'm guessing tomorrow morning it's going to
go back up.
Yeah, because people probably are processing the news and things like that. But
I see it. Okay, now I see after hours. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't do so well after hours.
Hi, Tanya.
Neither did Tesla. Tesla didn't do so well either. But GameStop, that's a way to go.
I thought, and here's the, you know what saved GameStop, because they were in dire straits. I think the pandemic probably saved them.
No, have you heard what happened today or no?
No. Well, I know that their stock went like crazy up, and a lot of people are buying and selling it right now.
Well, the reason what happened is there was a Reddit thread,
okay,
a couple of days ago that says, "Hey, everybody, let's buy GameStore stock." GameStop stock. Say that 100 times fast.
GameStop stock.
So let's buy that just to drive up the price and see what happens. GameStop is almost bankrupt. They haven't come back. So they're on the verge of going bankrupt. So all of these people on Reddit started convincing each other to do that. And it took off. So the stock blew up just from no reason other than no reason than to
good choice. Good choice, Frank.
The one store left in the world.
Yeah. He makes a good
They're going crazy.
The good point with that is Reddit could come up tomorrow and say, let's do Blockbuster, and the same thing would happen. And it's just a way to like piss off Wall Street. So it's like actually a crazy thing.
Yeah, but you're playing with your own money though.
One person invested $50K in this whole thing and walked away with $14 million.
Because he got out early. But you're always going to have the people that are like, oh, well, it's making all this money. I'm going to ride it out, and then they find out they've got
totally
nothing.
a Ponzi scheme. You go in early and you leave early. But if you did that, then you made some money.
Yeah, those day traders, they know to watch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else, or are we just going to call it?
We also mentioned with updates, Watch OS 7.3, iPad OS 14.4, and TV OS 14.4 all were updated today. So,
and there was also go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there was also the story with Google which was interesting. How they're trying to circumvent the privacy label somehow.
Well, I know they haven't updated their stuff yet.
No,
Oh, was that? I didn't see that.
Doing this whole thing. Google is changing the way they collect privacy to circumvent having
Apple's
to
restrictions.
and it actually is like bypassing it. Let's see if I could find the article, but maybe we could talk about it tomorrow, Dave, because that might be something we could talk about. But it's
We talked about it last week.
yeah. Well, this just came out today. I think that we're talking about it. Let's see.
I see it. Google stopped collecting advertisers' identifiers in iOS for apps in response.
Yeah. So
Well, put a link in our chat.
Yeah.
In the private chat, so I can take a look at this too.
Yeah, here it is. So here.
Got it.
Got it. Yep. Here.
Doo-doo. Here we go. All right, it's in Mac Rumors if anyone cares.
But yeah, it's so we were talking why they're taking so long to add their label, and we're like, we don't know. So it turns out they're coming out with this other plan to bypass it somehow, and it's confusing, and nobody really understands it, but they're doing something. Let's see.
Okay, well, I mean, basically it's saying here that users will be presented with a prompt to allow or deny tracking as necessary when opening apps on iOS 14, iPadOS 14, and tvOS as part of Apple's app tracking transparency. So Google today, it will stop collecting IDFAs for a handful of iOS apps it currently uses once the policy goes into effect. It says, as a result, Google said it will not need to show Apple's tracking permission prompt in its iOS apps. That's interesting.
So I guess what they're saying is that they used to have a unique identifier to everybody's data that ties to the device. They're turning that off. So basically they're sharing anonymous data to Google and other companies, which means they're not tracking you. They're just tracking
people going to something.
Somebody did that, and we don't know who it was, but they went to Joe's, kind of
Crab House and computer sales.
Exactly.
And used cars.
So yeah. So
Jet Joe, boy, he's a worker.
They went to Joe's.
I wonder now, when is this supposed to happen? Have they said when this is supposed to happen? Or has it already happened?
I think Apple is supposed to in the coming days is what I just saw.
Okay, because I have the 14, is it 14 or 15? I've got the beta for the Mac OS on this computer right now. And when I rebooted it afterwards, YouTube was acting really weird. There were like certain videos that were like not coming up, and it didn't really say why. So I'm not sure what's going on. And I was just wondering if that had something to do with it. It's a thing, says Frank. Damn it. It was like this little gnat.
Google.
I just hit myself in the face. Stupid gnats, go away.
So it still says if you try to download Google right now, there's still nothing on the privacy label. It says no details provided. So they still haven't.
They haven't updated the app yet.
Yeah. So they're trying this. I think that's why they're waiting. They're going to try this new thing where
they see if they can get around it.
They're going to say to Apple, well, we're not doing what you said. We're not tracking the way you're saying that we're doing it. So we turned this off. So now we can do it. So.
Okay, anyone who's using the latest version of the Mac OS, go to nearly any website, and if you're using Safari, you can see how many trackers are on that website. And I know that the standard that I usually do is CNN and Fox. And there's typically anywhere from 30 to 50 trackers for every single page. If you go... I don't have. I bring up Safari. I'm not using Safari at the moment because StreamYard doesn't work well with it.
Preferences. Let's see. No.
So, for example, in this Mac Rumors, in the Mac Rumors site that I have up right now about this very topic, 40 trackers are being prevented from profiling me in Mac Rumors.
CNN was 21. There's a shield right next to the URL when you to look at
and that's where you see it. So, you know, it's not just
notorious. I only have 24 for Mac Rumors.
Well, I got 40 that was listed here. But it changes. It changes all the time. And that little shield is basically saying that all those trackers are being prevented while using Safari from tracking you. Now, the difference...
Mac World is 49 trackers.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. Well, all these sites are. And the thing is, it's not necessarily the fault, or I'm not going to say that. It's not necessarily the doings of the company or the organization or whatever it is. It's whoever it is that they have doing their web design. They're saying, well, we need to generate more money from our website. So their web design people are going, okay, we're just going to toss all these trackers on and we'll see, you know, what sticks to the wall.
A lot of notorious ones like DoubleClick.
Yeah.
Taboola.
Yeah. You can actually see it. You can even see what trackers are on the web page.
Yahoo.
I'm looking there.
Scorecard research. There we go.
Yeah. Let's see. RubiconProject.com.
Yeah.
I don't know who half of these people are, but they know every place that I go from this website on, or they would if I was doing it through something other than Safari. But the thing is, so many of these websites now, when they see the blocker, they don't let you see the information. They're like, well, you have to, you know, okay us. You have to put us on a whitelist in order to see this content. And half the time when they do that, it's like, I don't want to see your content that bad.
Yeah.
You know, Business Insider. I haven't gone to Business Insider in over a year.
That site's horrible.
And I used to go to that site all the time, but now it's like, nope.
Plus they have and then they have a paywall too.
Oh, did they? Well, okay. Well, I haven't been there in a while because of their other BS practices. Okay. Well, I think that is going to do it for tonight. Do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about?
No, we're good.
Okay. Well, Warren, we're going to start with you. If people wanted to find out more information about you and not use internet trackers, how would they do it?
They wouldn't, because I would track them no matter what. I will find you.
I have a special skill set. I will find you.
I will find you, and I will kill you if you try to follow me. Just find me on Reddit, finding out what to buy next.
Okay. Right, along with all the people buying GameStop stock. That is hard to say.
It is very hard to say. Yep.
David.
You can find me on In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com with Mr. Warren Sklar as my co-host. Mr. Jeff Gammett's going to be joining us this week's show.
Nice.
And find me on, as well as Guy, on Mac Voices Live every Tuesday night on Facebook and YouTube on the Mac Voices page on both of those sites. And occasionally on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. And I'm also on Twitter at DaveG65. Thanks.
And you can find me. Oh, gotta bring it up. There it is. You can find me. Email address is guy@mymac.com. Twitter is MacParrot and Vert or VertShark. VertShark.com is the website. VertShark over there on YouTube to see all of the videos, though you can see all those same videos over at VertShark.com. And what else? There's the Guy's Daily Drive that I do on an occasional basis where I drive in my car and say stuff and record it and do it live. And there is also the granddaddy of them all, the mymac.com podcast that I've been doing with Gazmaz since 2000 and I think March of 2011. So we're coming up on 10 years.
10 years?
10 years? Or was it 2010 when we started? Either way, it's 10 or 11 years, a really, really long time. Gaz would probably say it's been even longer in his head, but you know, that's the fun of doing a podcast with someone like me. So that is going to do it, I think, for tonight. Thank you all, Mr. Parrott. Thank you all so very, very much for joining us tonight. Let me get rid of that. Here on the Mac to the Future Livecast. And we will see you, all of you, next week. Right here, where I probably won't be stuttering like I am tonight, but who knows? I might be anyway. Bye.
Bye, Blockbuster. Go.
I just went over and opened the door if the cat wants to come. I don't know where she is right now. But she was, just before we started the show, she was out there. She went, I don't know if you could hear her, Dave.
No.
No? Okay. That's the beauty of having a dynamic microphone.
Mic.
It just blocks out most of the extraneous noise, other than, of course, my voice.
You'll be proud of me, Guy. You'll be
Tell
proud.
me, what did you do?
I listened to most of your show with the geeky girls, so I made it through most.
Oh!
Not I couldn't get.
That was a fun. That was a fun show. That was a really fun show.
I got through most of it, but you know, listening to you with the microphones, I just needed the gist of it.
I love talking about microphones.
I know,
and that was only the first part. There's a second part, a second hour. There's still another hour.
God, are you kidding me?
No.
What
now,
microphone?
Remember, we're still broadcasting, guys. So
what microphone will make my voice
talking about mics? That's what I was saying. 2 hours worth of talking about mics.
Oh well, well, there was lots of questions too that they asked me.
I want a mic that makes my voice deeper. What do I do?
Well, it's not going to make your voice deeper, but it'll pick up more of the natural ambiance.
I don't want that. My voice is terrible. I want a nice deep voice, like I.
Oh, you want like the FM DJ voice in a world.
That requires a mixer.
Yeah.
Can you do that with a mixer?
Well, basically, because I have a pretty deep voice to begin with, so I don't need a whole lot of help in that regard. And I used to try to make my voice even deeper. I went into Audio Hijack. Now, come on. There's like this gnat in here. I actually hit myself while we were recording the show because this gnat kept flying in my face, and I like, Pwah!
If I turn this screw.
Yeah, and it is Marcus's fault. He brought me into Mac to the Future. That's very true. He told me about the group.
Yeah, that's when a group was cool.
Until you showed up.
This one I don't quite get. It's 15 loots of guys screaming at pedestrians.
We must have been talking about. Oh, it's when you mentioned your daily drive. I guess that's what he came up with.
15 minutes. Okay, of me screaming at. Okay, that would make more sense.
He missed the MIN there.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
Well, in England they call it.
And I do. I actually do scream at people while I'm driving and doing the show.
In British, it's loots. You're spending too many loots looking at that thing. Too many loots.
What's with your loots? What's with your loots? What's with your loots, man? That's like my horrible Scottish accent. Right now, everyone in Scotland is like, we don't sound like that.
I hear somebody's wife. Is it Dave's?
Maybe.
Probably. It's not mine.
Mine's pretty loud.
When my wife knows that I'm podcasting, she stays as far away from this room as she possibly can because she doesn't want to get any nerd on her. You know, I think that's what it comes down to.
My wife turns up the TV sometimes, but I could control it from my phone, so I turn it back down. So
that would probably really piss her off. It's like, what's wrong with this thing? I'm turning it up.
Well, she falls asleep.
Haggis.
It's haggis. All right, guys. I'm gonna I don't know. Go to sleep.
Now, Marcus, I went from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where I grew up, 3 miles from the ocean.
You gotta go warm
to
bed.
Akron, Ohio. I had 4 Ohio winters before I moved to Virginia. I do not want to spend any more time in very, very cold climates, or as little as I possibly can. I'm looking to get out of Virginia, and it's not even that cold here. So I would, I don't know if I would go to Florida at this point. There's just so much weirdness. Oh, you heading out? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm out to. I might as well just call it a night here.
All right. Have a good show tomorrow night.
Yep. Take it. See everybody. Bye-bye.
You know, I used to do this thing where I would play iTunes music and, you know, whatever I had in my library. And I got dinged so many times for playing copyright music that I stopped doing it. And I'm sorry, because that was fun. I used to enjoy, you know, I would take your guys' suggestions, what do you want to hear? And I would find it if I had it in my library. And it was a lot of fun. And I never played more than probably 15 to 20 seconds of a particular song. And it probably, for the people that were watching it, it more likely would make them go out and buy it than, you know, oh, I'm going to record Guy talking over some music, and that's what I want to hear instead of the actual song. So I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to listen to this 15-second clip with Guy talking over it, because that's just so great. All right. Well, unless anyone else has any suggestions for something else for me to talk about just off the cuff, I'm going to call it a night as well. Thank you all so very, very much for joining us tonight here on the Mac to the Future livecast. And we will see all of you next time right here. And I hope to see you then. Have a great night. Stay safe. Courage.